Good afternoon. This is William Powers 424. I've got a couple videos posted. One that you might want to watch before you watch this one, or after. It's long. I apologize for the length, but it's called "What Handgun Should I Buy? Explore Your Options." I talk about the different types of guns in general a little. I show examples of revolvers, semi-automatics, different types, a single action automatic, double action automatics, double action only automatics, several different types. And but today I want to talk about handgun carry, concealed carry versus open carry probably. I'm not going to say a lot about open carry. If you open carry, given you can carry pretty much any size gun you want, a full-size handgun if you'd like, or compact. There's lots of really nice holsters out there and stuff to definitely open carry. You can all kinds of things. But before I do that, I wanted to mention to you that if you decide to go and get your permit and carry a gun, you need to do some soul searching probably before you. I mean, you can get your permit and you don't always have to carry it, but before you carry that gun, you've got to think about what the consequences may be. And I think you should consider the consequences that you may take another human life if you carry that gun. You may be forced into that situation. Could have an accident. Hopefully not. You want to do everything you can to prevent that and be safe when you carry. But you may have that. So if you're unsure, I think you should explore maybe some other options. Just to tell you the truth, probably the single most important thing you could do is perhaps go and take a good personal protection course that teaches you some techniques on how to avoid potential confrontations. Avoidance is your best policy. And I think the single most important thing about that, I'm going to mention it and then just suggest that you go take find a trained professional that's qualified and take a personal safety course, and they'll explore some non-lethal options with you. I'm going to mention a few today. But the most important thing, whether you're carrying a gun or whether you're not, for your safety when you're out and about in the world today, is tactical awareness. And I'm not meaning that in a combat situation. You're not in combat here. But tactical awareness or situational awareness is a term used often in sports. Soccer is a good example. Knowing where the ball is at all times, knowing where the open players are, knowing your situation and the surrounding teams, both opponent and both your side at all times, and being aware of what you need to do to promote that game and move it forward. So the same thing applies to personal safety. Things in parking garages. I've worked in several large cities in high-rise buildings at late hours often, early in the morning, all different hours. Parking garage, would have to walk several blocks sometimes to our off-site parking garage. They weren't connected in some of the buildings I have worked in. So if you walk to that building, you put yourself at risk at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So just some guidelines of one thing is, if you're on that cell phone and you're not paying attention to your surroundings, believe me, there's a predator out there that sees you as prey. Okay, if you're loaded down with packages, if you're not paying attention to where you're going, what you're doing, who's around you, how far away they are, you need to pay attention. And when you're in a situation, any situation, because it could happen anytime, it can happen in a crowd of people, anywhere. It's more likely to happen in a secluded setting, in a situation where somebody has the advantage. You're by yourself. It's a lot more likely for someone to rob a small-sized female than it is a 260-pound male. It doesn't stop a drunken or crazed up drug head with a gun from doing it. They don't have that judgment at that time. so they could rob anybody. But you know, there's always that. They'll pick up their prey. They're looking for prey, and they're predators. And predators know, look for those signs. Know the signs. Know that you're distracted. You're vulnerable when you get in and out of your car, even if you're carrying a gun. As you get in to sit down and as you get out, those are vulnerable points. You need to be especially aware of those vulnerable points. I have just a small tip that a security person might give you, a personal protection, is if you get on the elevator with someone that, and you never know, you know, someone that definitely might overpower you in that elevator, just let's say that, of whatever, you know, for some reason you're uncomfortable, I tend to wait and let that person pick their floor, okay? And then if they picked my floor, I might pick another floor and get off on a floor before he gets off. Then if they get off with you, you know you got a problem, and you can be on guard. If you have a gun, you can, you know, be prepared, more prepared. You're prepared there. So anything like that, you know, whatever you need to do to protect yourself. So I've gotten on an elevator before, felt uncomfortable with the people in it, and just, oh, I forgot something, hit the button, open the door, walk back out. Let them go. It's better safe than sorry. You know, somebody might say, oh, well, you're a coward. Well, I'm not a coward. Well, I really don't want to kill someone over, you know, the $100 I might have in my wallet or my credit cards. I might have $10 in my credit card. So, you know, I really don't want to kill somebody over that. I just don't want to do that. And if it comes to it, you know, I'm going to protect myself from being killed. I'm going to protect my family from being killed. And, you know, that's the way it is. My family knows, you know, what I'll do in a crisis situation like that. And so, but, you know, there are several things you can do other than carry a gun. There's a lot of products out there. There's stun guns. There is, you know, there's mace, that's conventional mace. There's batons, several different. This is a small, fairly light baton. And there's also batons. There's different sizes of these. You can spend a lot of money. This is a fairly inexpensive, cheap steel baton. You can get an aluminum or some alloys that are really good and work great. Light to carry. Policemen carry them. You can buy as far as mace and stuff like that, you can, I would suggest if I was going to get a mace, I might give me some bear spray. You know, it's designed to stop, you know, a nearly 1,000-pound animal, and believe me, it will stop them. It will put a hurt on a human if you use it. They'll vomit, they'll fall down, they're definitely gone. They're out of the game, okay? You can just walk away at that point. It comes, unfortunately, it comes in, most of it comes in a can about the size of this can right here, which, you know, you'll see is about 6 or 8 inches tall. They have holsters. You can wear them. You can put them in, you know, you can get some smaller ones, but some of the better ones are larger. They'll spray a pretty good distance. So if a perpetrator was coming and you knew he was coming, you have an advantage with the small cans of mace and stuff. You don't have as much distance there. So I would, you know, that's a possibility. There's other things you can do. But if you decide to conceal carry, if you decide that you're going to go, or you're going to carry a handgun, I personally, like I said, I think it's better to conceal it because I really don't want people to know it's there in certain situations. Also, if you put your weapon in a holster, such as this one, and you're wearing that gun on your belt, and it's back here sitting, this is designed to sit kind of on the small of your back right there on the side, this paddle, as you'll see, and the gun, this is a Phobos molded, specially made for this Glock 36. It's a subcompact Glock. It's got an extended clip on it, so it looks bigger than it really is. It's about this big. You can see it's it won't, you know, my hands are not large, huge hands, but it covers my hands. It's you know, about 6 or 7 inches long total. It's a striker action pistol and doesn't have a safety. I usually carry it in a holster of some type that covers the trigger, and I do carry my semi-automatics cocked and with a round in the chamber, because you're not going to have time to pull it out, slide it back, take a safety off if you have it, and go through all those motions if you need to use that gun in a crisis. So, but when you're wearing this big old holster and that gun, you get in the car, it hangs in your seat belt, there's all kinds of things. And I think the easier it is for you to carry, and the more and the lighter it is, the less work it is for you to do, the more likely you probably are to do it and do it continuously. I carry my handgun all the time when I'm not at work. I'm not allowed to carry a gun where I work. I teach school, and so I can't carry a gun there, and so I don't. And you know, there's a lot of talk about carrying guns in school. I'd say I'm about 2 years away from retirement, and somebody asked me about it. I said, well, you know, I really think at this point I'd probably have to go through a lot of training. I'm sure they're going to retrain you no matter what kind of training you got. You're going to go through some psychological and some training to be able to carry that gun. And I don't think it's worth, if the school system's paying for it, I don't think it's worth it for me to carry for 2 years. I see no point in it myself. And to be honest with you, you know, I'd sure hate to have to go up against a long gun with a pistol. But, you know, better than having, you know, a ruler, I think, or a yardstick. So my favorite gun that I probably carry the most is a Kel Tec. You know, 380. I've gotten partial to it. Here it is. It's a double action only gun. Has a single stack clip that holds, I think, it holds a little less than it says on it. I usually put about 5 shells, 5 or 6 in there. If you can't get the job done, you're probably going to only need 2 or 3, and if that's not enough, you probably are in trouble anyway. But this gun fits in my pocket. I carry it in my pocket in my pants, blue jeans, or dress slacks, or whatever I'm wearing. You know, I carry it anywhere I go. I'd carry it to church with me, the funeral home, any place as long as they don't post. You know, I try to abide by it. I don't go to places like Buffalo Wild Wings that say no guns or gun-free zones. I don't go. I try to go to places that allow guns. And so this is a very small gun. I've got a little addition on the clip here to give me a little bit more room with a finger there. It has very little sights. This gun is designed to shoot something up very close. You'll hear a lot of people bash the Kel Tec as being junk. It's cheap. It's inexpensive. But I have 2 Kel Tecs. I've had another one or 2. Traded them off, sold them. I've had 2 Kel Tecs. I've fired probably not 1,000 rounds, but I've fired several hundred rounds through them. Every once in a while, I suggest you do the same thing. Is I take this gun, I just pick a random time, not clean, don't change the cartridges out. I shoot the cartridges that are in it, and I pop off 4 or 5 rounds and see if it jams. It doesn't. These guns early on, the larger, this is the 3AT they call it. It comes in multicolors. This one's a green and steel top. It's a polymer gun. Everybody, like I said, they bash Kel Tec, but Kel Tec got in the when concealed permits became available in Tennessee and you could start carrying fairly easily. Nobody made light guns. I mean, they made some small guns. They made some 380s and some 9s that were a little larger than this gun, but they were heavy. They were stainless steel. I had a SIG, their smallest gun they made for a while. I carried it some, but I mean, you put it in your pants, put on a pair of shorts, it's gonna pull your shorts down around your knees. I mean, it was heavy, and you know, they get old carrying them, so you tend to not. And that, you know, when you don't carry, it's probably when you're gonna need it. It's better, like Woodrow Call said in Lonesome Dove, it's better to have it and not need it than it is to need it and not have it. You'll notice I like to quote a lot of old movies, but you know, like I said, this gun is adequate for me. It does well. If I was carrying with my family a lot, my wife and I go. If I had more people to protect, I might want a little more firepower. To be honest with you, a tough man, you can put a couple 380s in him, even in the right spot, he can still kill you. There's you know, this ain't Dodge City, and you ain't White Earp. So if you get in a shootout with somebody, and the truth is, if you're not close to them, if you're not pretty darn close, they can't be showing you intent to go harm unless they're shooting at you with a gun from a distance. If they got a baseball bat and they're 20 yards away, you're probably going to jail, and you're going to have problems defending that in court. So you got to remember, that person that you're going to use this gun against, hopefully you won't have to use it. Maybe they'll just leave if you pull it out and they see it and you have to pull it out. I mean, you can even have some flack over pulling it out when you don't need to. But if you do pull it out and they want to leave, I'd let them leave, okay? But here's the thing. If they got a gun and you got a gun, when you pull your gun out, now their life's in threatened, okay? Before it wasn't, after it is, and they may go to shooting. They may you know, start shooting at you, and then, you know, you're forced to return the fire. So, you know, you've got to do what the situation dictates. If you're wearing that gun on your hip and that guy's got that gun on you and he's close, you're not going to pull and shoot him. This, you know, if you watch too much Justified, it'll get you killed, okay? You know, I learned, I trained with a two-shot double tap. You know, trained. I've trained with it, so yeah, I can get it out fast and put two where I want to. But you need to shoot thousands and thousands of rounds to do that. So when you get to that point, maybe you can pull that gun out and pop away like that. But I don't pull on. I wouldn't pull on a man that's already got a gun on me. That's one of the reasons I want to go concealed, is I'm waiting for him to give me an opportunity, okay, where he takes that gun off me, he's distracted. You drop your wallet when you go to handle it, act scared, drop your wallet, he takes that gun off you, then you got the opportunity. So to defend yourself, and that's, you know, that's just me. Another gun that I carry on a regular basis that's got a lot more firepower is this, I'm fond of Rugers. This is a Ruger LCR. They make this gun, I think, in several different calibers. This is the 357 Magnum. It's a few ounces heavier than the same gun in 38, but not much. So they also make it in a 9mm, but I would not recommend the 9mm revolver, especially if you're a novice with guns. I'll talk about that in my video where I talk about handgun ammunition later and tell you why I probably wouldn't use the 9mm try to use it in a revolver. There's some that will shoot a 9mm, but anyway, this is a 357 Magnum, and you can shoot a 38 in this. You can shoot 38 Special, 38 plus P, and the 357. If you don't know about that, you can watch my video. This gun has been carried a lot. You can see a lot of wear here where I've taken it in and out of my pocket. It's a revolver. It's double action only. The hammer is internal and shrouded. It's nice and rounded where you can put it in your coat pocket, your pants pocket. I have no trouble carrying this in a pair of jeans or a pair of pants. It's a little heavy for a tighter pair of dress slacks and a little, you know, you might see a little bulge, but this would carry well in a small holster behind your back. It would still, and this is plenty of gun, and this'll do the job. A 357 will definitely do the job for you with the right load. There's no doubt about it. This will knock a man, will put him down. Okay, it's going to do some damage. You know, again, a big tough man can take a bullet and keep coming sometimes. Don't ever forget that. You know, I can tell you, I have an acquaintance. I wouldn't call him a friend. He's a friend of a friend of mine. We have a friend in common, I guess. No, I'm not talking about Facebook friends. I actually, people you talk to. It's been probably 14 years ago now or so, 15 maybe. Two guys came after him to kill him over some business dealings. He was in a rural area at a convenience store way out away from a hospital. Probably the closest hospital was probably 35, 40 miles. Rural Tennessee, and they came after him with guns. Both of them were armed. There were shots exchanged. He was actually inside his car. They shot. He managed to, I think, seriously wound, critically wound, or fatally wound I'm not sure if the guy died. He was in serious or critical condition. But anyway, he took a bullet in the leg. And you wouldn't think about it, but it cut his artery in his groin there. And before they could get him to the hospital, he had bled so much that he went into a coma. His organs shut down, and he passed away a day or so later. And so, you know, if you're up close and personal with these people, you know, I mean, you'll get all these gung-ho people that'll tell you stuff, but until you've been in a gunfight, you really don't know exactly what you're going to do and how that's going to unfold. And, you know, the good thing is probably your opponent is high, but if you're standing close enough for that person to be a physical threat to you without a gun, or a threat to you with a knife or some kind of weapon, then you've got an issue with the law, and you don't want that. That person is going to have to be close to you. So you really need to think that through. Like I said, the Glock, this is a subcompact. You can see, if you compare these two guns, you can see the difference in size here. Let's see if I can turn them where we can see them both on the video. You can see there's a huge difference. I would have trouble putting this gun in my pocket for sure. I could carry it behind the small of my back. I have a holster with a belt clip, and you can carry it behind your back with that belt clip clipped in the small of your back. And if you're wearing a jacket or a shirt that's untucked, it's still concealed and fairly comfortable. I wouldn't want to carry it all day like that, set in a car that way. I'd take it out. It's easily to take out when you get in the car if you're doing that. But all of these guns, you know, you can also get, you know, you can go spend a bunch of money. I see them advertising on Facebook some holsters for this. But you can go to, I think this one's, you know, the color's probably not that great, but this has got an adjustable strap that will go around a big old boy like me. A quick release buckle there. It's pretty heavy. It's got a zipper, and I can easily stick this Ruger down in it, zip it up, wear it when I'm jogging, when I'm doing stuff, when I'm out, when I got on a pair of swimming trunks or whatever. And I do. I was a Boy Scout, and the Boy Scout motto is be prepared, and I believe in being prepared. So I carry that. I've also got a little Phobos holster, a little bitty holster that will hold this one. You can stick back and you can work it around far enough that if you're wearing a jacket or something. I've tried several shoulder holsters. I used to have one back a long time ago, a nice custom-made leather one, rather expensive, and it carried my Browning high power for years, and I would wish I had it back, but I'm not going to spend the money that it would cost to have one made like that now. You also can buy several gun carry cases. This is a Maxpedition. It has a place to put your pistol in here. You can adjust the strap, slide your gun down in. This is not something that you're going to get it out real quick, but it's a nice way to safely carry your gun. You can carry this on a belt or on a backpack on the outside or somewhere where you could get to it rather quickly. So there's a lot of options. Again, I'm a proponent of, you know, if you can avoid it, walk away. If you can avoid a confrontation, I've spent my life trying to use my tactical awareness, my situational awareness to keep me from having to face, having to pull my gun and use it. And I think you would be wise to do the same thing. So if you have to use it though, you know, I'm just going to keep shooting until it probably stops or they're on the ground. And you know, I don't know what else to do, because you know they're liable to kill you even after you shot somebody, because you're, like I said, again, you're going to be up close and personal when you have to use this gun. You're not going to shoot somebody you know, from 20-30 yards away. It's not likely to happen. You could. You're definitely not going to shoot somebody that's not facing you. And so you want to be careful with abiding by the law so you don't go to jail. But you know, there's all kinds of purses out there for women. If you're a woman, you know, the ones I've seen, they're not Gucci bags for sure, but you know, that they're adequate. There's a lot more now than there was 15 years ago, 20 years ago. You're seeing more. If you want to see the small guns and concealed carry guns, you know, you can go to any good gun show. I would stay with a name brand gun. You know, I wouldn't go off to something really cheap that you can't depend on. Like I said, people bash my Kel Tec all the time, but I've never had a problem with it. I've owned 2 of their guns, and both of them have performed every time I've shot them. I did have to have the feed chute, or I actually polished the feed chute on one of the older ones. There were some feed chute jams. But another thing, anyway, talk to you some more about ammunition, and I hope this is give you some information, and stay safe and protect yourself. It's your right, and make sure that you stay legal and that you're safe with that gun, and that gun's properly secured and stored when you're not carrying it. You have a great evening, and I'll talk to you later.